All right, this is Gabe Gold Diamond, and I don't know if I can download this video for myself, but if I can, then this will be on other platforms as well. So it's Gold Diamond Awareness Music. So today, this is my other live video. I'm going to be talking about where to direct your faith in God. So first off, I got a lot of people that follow me or that see my posts that understand the more Vedic, ancient understanding of the location of God, like where God is located. And I have a lot of people that follow me that are more oriented in the more modern, what the more modern programming of where we've been taught God is located. And so I'm just going to go through some basic, very simple experiential facts. Nothing that you perceive through your five senses is actually located outside of you. So for those of you that don't know, every single thing that you experience in your physical reality is simply something that's actually happening within your brain, meaning what you are seeing out there is really something that's being decoded by your brain. So it may not be even actually be what's out there, quote unquote, out there, what you're seeing, what you're smelling, what you're tasting, what you're touching. People tend to think that this is a very grounded, quote unquote, grounded point of view. But the truth of the matter is what we consider to be objective is in its truest nature subjective, in that it's everything is being interpreted by your brain. Meaning, even if you sit down to eat a pepperoni pizza, and sorry, vegans, I'm a vegan, but I'm giving the pepperoni pizza analogy. If you sit down to eat a pepperoni pizza and your friend sits down to eat a pepperoni pizza, both of your brains may process that it's a pepperoni pizza in front of you, but both of you may have different opinions on how you're experiencing the pepperoni pizza, the taste of the pepperoni pizza, the smell of the pepperoni pizza. So even smell doesn't have an intrinsic reality. Even sight doesn't have an intrinsic reality. There's still an X factor that is interpreting the experience of the pepperoni pizza differently. But if you really want to get down to it, the fact that you're perceiving a pepperoni pizza in front of you is also an interpretation of your brain. So that sounds trippy. That sounds way out there. But if you really look into it, it's the most basic and simple thing. It's what you've been taught about the nature of your reality that makes the simplicity of reality out there and strange and weird and other. And so I just ask you to bear with me, and it may challenge your viewpoint, but I think in our experience, we always should be challenged. I need to be challenged. I mean, I'm challenged every day, but I definitely need to be challenged. So I'm not saying I'm some kind of authority or guru. I'm just simply sharing my viewpoint because it excites me to do so. So, this is the reason why I prefaced this discussion with that example, is because I want to talk about God, because I have to say that God is probably my favorite subject in the entire universe. So I like to talk about God. I like to think about God. I've always had a deep love for God, even if I wasn't completely aware of it. I've always had a deep love for the divine. And the one thing, and that's, because if you really, really love something, if you're really, really passionate about it, you tend to get very, very detailed. You study it in deep detail. You have a deep experiential experience of it. And so, I've loved God my whole life. And, it's only been recently that, I've been almost forced into not just leisurely, loving God and paying attention to God when I want to, and just realizing that God is the power source that I'm hooked into all the time. And if I consciously acknowledge that every day, then that leads to a positive reality. And in many cases, it leads to positive manifestations. So let's get into it. We have been taught that God is somehow outside of us, that God is somehow in the sky, that God is somehow in the mountains, that God is somehow in the picture that's in front of us, that God is somehow in the statue that's in front of us. And based upon the simple scientific proof and you can Google this yourself, the simple anecdote that I gave you, that can't possibly be the case. Because if everything that you're looking at is just an interpretation of your brain, then what you've been taught God is an interpretation of your brain. Now, the brain itself is not God. The brain itself is a motherboard to process information. So, that might be a little bit out there, but, promise me that you'll bear with me. It may not even be all covered in this particular discussion, but you will come to understand what I'm talking about if you stick with me, and then also if you do a little bit of research yourself. So it can't possibly be true that that picture of Jesus or Krishna or Buddha or that statue of Buddha is God. It can't possibly be that God is in the sky, because you have to look up at the sky. And the sky, when you look up at the sky, it's an interpretation by your brain of what you're even perceiving. So even let me look up toward the sky. First off, up, you're looking up, like you have to scrutinize everything that you believe is true. The fact that you're looking up means there has to be a down. Up and down are matters of perspective. You think that they are simply, no, up and down are, up and down is up and down, up and down is up and down. But the earth is a sphere. So one person could be living in China and they'll point up to the sky that is up for them, but that's down for you because you're all the way on the other side of the globe. So even up and down are matters of perception, and they're in your brain. So the sky is the atmosphere of the earth, which surrounds the entire earth. So the atmosphere is the word is in it, sphere, atmosphere. So, but many religions say that God is, or some religions say, or the one religion that I know for sure says that is Christianity, saying that God is in the sky, or implying that God is in the sky, because a lot of us tend to point upward when we talk about God. Now, I'm not a Christian, but I was raised in Christian tradition. But the sky is a perception. The sky is an interpretation of the brain. So there's nowhere that you can look. There's nothing that you can go out and perceive with your 5 or even 6 senses that will determine where God is, because it will always be a fact that what you are perceiving with your 5 or 6 senses, or even beyond, is an interpretation of your brain, or an interpretation of the motherboard that's being used to process the information. The process of information being the senses. The senses are information that are coming into your awareness and telling you about your environment. So where is God? God can't be anywhere but with the one that is perceiving. God can't be anywhere but the one that is perceiving. So if you really think about it and say, okay, who's the one that is perceiving God? Who's the one? Let's say God is just simply, let's not give God any particular attributes except omnipresence, omnipotency, and omniscience. Let's not give God any other attributes but those 3. No anthropomorphic attributes, no hands, no face, no knees, no feet, no legs. Let's not give God any of that. No personality, just simply omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience. So if we just, those are 3 things that all religions pretty much attribute to the monotheistic God. Therefore, we can also ask, well, if I'm thinking that about God, that's a perception of God. Who's creating that perception of God? You can't point at any human being outside of you, because I just told you that all of your senses are interpretations of your brain, perceptions of your brain. You could change the perception of your brain and change your perception from seeing a person one way to seeing a person in an entirely different way. So you can't point at anybody outside of yourself. So the only logical conclusion as to where God is located, if we can use the term where, because where is another perception, is the one who's pointing outward, saying, looking at everything out there, the one that is perceiving, the one that is looking through the brain, using the brain as a computer to process information. Now that may sound like way out there to some of you that are very, that aren't used to hearing this kind of information. But that is where that omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence is truly located. Well, why is it that I don't know everything? Why is it that I discover things? Why is it that I'm, seem to be, it seems that there are things that I still need to know. Well, the thing about the omnipresence, omnipotence, and the omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience is the fact that you're dealing with infinity. So to know everything, you're thinking from a level of yourself. You're thinking from an aspect that is talking about sequence and time. You're talking to know everything. The typical person would think, well, I need to learn things in sequence until I know everything. And that's going to take infinity. And infinity is forever, which means it will never end, which means you could never possibly learn everything that way. If you're thinking in terms of time, it has thought to have a beginning and an end. I know this is a very meta thing, but it's really not that meta. It's just different than what you're used to hearing. If for those of you that may be like, what is he talking about? Not all of you are going to do that. So if you're thinking in terms of time, you're thinking in terms of finite things. Time implies finite. If you're talking about infinite, then you're talking about the only thing that you can really be talking about is the present moment. The present moment is constantly flowing. There's no beginning and end of the present moment because you're always experiencing it right now. Present moment. Now. In this moment, everything is contained. Everything is here. Everything is available right here in this moment. If you can take yourself outside of the perception of time, then you can understand that infinity is not an impossible stretch of time. Infinity is simply the flowing and ever-present moment, or even the static moment, which is like the ever-present moment has a certain. Anyway, I know that I can tend to be verbose and digress and get a little too meta, but infinity is the ever-present moment. It's not measured by anything because the present moment cannot be measured. So, if we establish that God cannot be outside of you, God cannot be in the sky, God cannot be on another planet, God cannot be anywhere else except in the one who is using the brain to perceive its environment. So then basically you can basically say that you are God. Now, the problem people have with saying that I am God is because people are getting too involved. People are too identified with their physical experience. Everyone thinks that they are the body. If you think that you are the body, I get up in the morning, I kiss my kid, I kiss my wife, I kiss my kids, or I kiss my husband, I kiss my kids, go to work. This person was an asshole to me. This person was really nice to me. I made some money today. My boss, he's kind of running me down and all this. And then I went home and I went to sleep because I was really tired and I forgot to have dinner or whatever. This is all in terms of the physical body. This is all an identification with the physical body. So if you can realize that you are not the physical body, because on this planet we experience death, the physical body no longer moves, no longer gyrates, and I use that term on purpose. Gyration is kind of like a creative term for me, which just means simply moving around. It's no longer animates. It's there. It's dead. The person that was there, that was talking to you before, is no longer communicating through that body. And so we need to cease identifying with the physical body. We need to cease identifying with all the ideas that we've been told that we are, meaning cease identifying with them as like the 10 Commandments, like these are facts and they will never change. If we have to stop identifying with that only as who we are. So for those of you that, are really, follow the 10 Commandments, there was no diss to the 10 Commandments. They come from the laws of Ma'at, which is from Kemet. They've been taken from those laws. So check out the laws of Ma'at from the Book of the Dead. So anyway, my point is instead of looking outside and looking outside to a God to provide you the blessings, to provide you the healing, to provide you the mystery, understand that you are the infinity, you are the omnipresence, you are the omniscience, you are the omnipotence, not the ego, not Joe Smith that works at this place every day, not Elon Musk, who owns Tesla, not Bill Gates, who owns Microsoft, not Brad Pitt, who's an actor. I'm using celebrities because these are things that we all can understand. Not even they are who they think they are. Those are just roles. Those are just physical bodies that have been assigned roles. And when you look out at them, guess what? They're all inside of you too. They're all perceptions inside of you through the brain. So God can only be you, not the ego, not what you think your name is. You say, who are you? Oh, and you say my name, or you say your name. That's not who you are. That's the role you've been given. That's the character title you've been given. Who you are is the mystery. So all the blessings, all the healing, all the mystery, all the boons, all the beneficence, all the glory, all the divinity is you. That's logical. It's not some airy fairy pie in the sky feeling. It is a logical conclusion to where what we call God is, because even God is a created term. But if again, that's why I came up with those three attributes, because those are three attributes that we all pretty much agree upon when we talk about God. So all those can be those are all attributes that can be attributed to you. You are the mystery. You are the guidance. You are the intuition. You are the higher self. You are those things. Not, oh, I consulted my higher self. No, you are the higher self. You are your guides. Oh, I talked to my guides the other day. What else do you think your guides are but interpretations of your brain? But perceptions of who you are. What else are your ancestors? What else are your elders? It's all inside of you. So therefore we've established that. So when we pray, prayer is fine. But understand that you are praying to the mystery that is you. Understand that when you ask for something with your heart, you are asking the mystery that you are. Do you understand? Like, there's no Jesus out there. There's no like 50 different Jesuses that appease the race that worships him. Like all those Jesuses are inside us. All those attributes are inside us. So anyway, I'd be repeating myself if I were to give a bunch of different examples, but I basically laid it out. I know it may sound meta to those of you that are not used to hearing this kind of information, but understand that when you're hearing this, I'm inside of you. Like, you know, for those of you that have dirty minds, pause, but even the perception of me and what I'm saying is inside of you. It's an interpretation of your brain. Think about that. And even your response to what I'm saying is an interpretation by your brain. It's all happening within you. So I just want you to walk away with that. When you pray, when you ask God for something, when you ask God for his or her guidance, what else is the God or the goddess but an interpretation inside of yourself? What else is it? So when you ask God for guidance, when you pray to God, when you ask God for whatever, know that you are asking the mystery, the divinity, the infinity that is already you. You're not asking anyone else but yourself. But you're not asking the ego, because you can die. You can leave that body off. You can leave John Smith off. You can shed John Smith and then get a new body and get a new name and get a new role. So that can't possibly be exactly who you really are. Who you are never really changes. So understand that. That's where faith needs to be directed. That's where faith needs to be focused. That's where everything needs to go. So for many of you that follow me or see my posts, you already understand this. But again, it excites me to share this. I'm hoping that there's a way for me to download this video so I can share it on other platforms. If you guys know how to do this through the live video, please, let me know. And this has been another live video from Gabe Gold Diamond Awareness, Gold Diamond Awareness Music. All right, you guys, peace.